Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
The truth shall set you free.
You can't handle the truth.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Don't make me destroy you.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I don't want to brag, but I will. I was in the Avengers. The Avengers? Yeah. That's great. Thank you. What is that?
Hasta la vista, baby.
Hello and welcome back to the Creative Control Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Kenan, and thank you for joining us on this week's episode. Joining me from my team today, the regulars, we have Sacha and Neil. How you doing, gentlemen?
Doing good. And you?
Good.
Good, thank you. Yeah, very good, very good. It's been a busy week for film this week with CINEMACON 2023 happening. We've had 2 days previous, so we're going to talk about the first 2 days, and we'll probably end up covering the third and final day next week. But there's been such big announcements, trailers dropping, all sorts of stuff going on the last 2 days. Felt just like we had to cover it. So we're going to go straight into it. And the first day we had a lot of Warner Brothers announcements and Sony. So we're going to go straight into that and talk about some of the key things. First one, I think the only place we can really start is The Flash. So there was a new trailer that dropped, and which we all watched, and you know, there's some great additional footage in that. We'll go into that in a little bit of detail. But also, persons at CinemaCon were actually able to see an edit version of the movie. It's not the final version of the movie, but they've seen a rough edit of the movie, and they've given some initial thoughts and reactions coming out of it. So we'll go into that as well. So starting on the trailer, Neil, what did you think of the new Flash trailer?
I think this film is going to be Warner Brothers' Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
I think this film will surpass the expectations that other people are setting, because those two trailers are insane.
Mm-hmm.
They're absolutely insane, and especially with this trailer that just came. It's like what it sounds like. The only people of reason are the Batmen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, and you know, it's sort of like, it's just tough to try and explain. It's just really, it's a good trailer. It lets you know what's the film is about,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't let you know what the film is about.
Yeah, no, definitely. It gives you more of an understanding of the story in terms of Barry and his parents. So we see a little more, we see more emotion in this trailer, and that kind of thing that we're expecting from the movie. We see a little bit more of Zod in this movie, and obviously we see a little bit more of Michael Keaton and a little bit more of Affleck's Batman as well. So it just gives you that little bit more without giving too much away. And I think, it's just really well put together trailer. I love the scene where the Batwing goes up onto the moon, and Keaton's Batman is dropping out and flying down with that in the background. I was just like, oh, that's nice. That is nice. Sacha, what did you think of the trailer?
I've been hating on this movie for the past several years, man. I didn't even think it would exist. Didn't even think it would exist. Every time they'd have one of those WB panels, they'd be like, yo, the director this week is...
Yeah, it changed like 3 or 4 times.
You know what? They had so many directors. You know what? The only director that had me like in awe for the movie to come out was Rick Famuyiwa, okay, who is now rocking it over at Star Wars. Man, is executive producer stripes on this season's Mandalorian. He directed the last 2 episodes of the season. Most famous for doing every Bill Burr episode. That guy, when he was at Comic-Con and he said what he wanted to do with Flash, I was like, yeah, this guy's a fan. This guy knows what he's on about. And then they got rid. And I got to say, you should check out his film Dope. It is dope. It is a really good film. Coming of age, adolescent comedy kind of thing. It's jokes. So yeah, he had me. After him, everybody else came and went and just didn't care. And then they said the guy from The Thing was doing it. I was like, well, I love The Thing, but you know what? Like, until he sticks around, we'll see. At one point, Ezra Miller was writing the script himself. You know, I have a friend that works on the set of this movie, and he actually spoiled the whole thing for me. But you know what? Despite knowing what I know, and despite all the shenanigans going on at the WB, you know what I mean? I was like, fuck this movie. It's not even on my radar. And the first thing I said when Michael Keaton was casted, I was like, fuck this shit. This is blatant. This is blatant stunt casting, and you know what? You ain't gonna fool me, because you know what? Like Michael Keaton and Batman. Like, I love Michael Keaton. He's one of my favorite Batmen out of the many that have donned the cape. But I was like, no, Keaton will not turn me to like this damn movie. All right, because I see what they're doing. And then that first trailer came.
Plus wins.
First trailer came. You know what? Yeah, Marvel. You dickheads over at Marvel. Yes, I'm going to use the term dickheads. Okay, Kevin, you need to grab the axe. Yeah, and you need to fire who you need to fire there. Yeah, because you know what? Yeah. It's no joke. On this very podcast, when you guys whooped out the Eternals trailer and just put your big dick logo on, I shredded Marvel. I was like, look, I love Endgame. And this was back when I was pro Phase 4. I was like, look, trust me, trust the plan. Feige we trust blindly. But I was like, look, you can't be just throwing up your logo, bro. Because, like, that was a whack trailer. And your Shang-Chi trailer was whack, too. Guess what? All right? If this movie shit, which I'm hearing it isn't, okay? This is a fucking trailer, bro. Like, seriously. Like, me... I was just like, you know what? When Michael Keaton says I'm Batman, I'm like, yes, you fucking are. Okay, yeah. Everyone's an imitation, like everyone. All right, it's like never say never again, yo. When Connery came back, but better. You know what I mean? But better. And you know what? Like this trailer. Okay, this trailer confirmed a lot of what my friend said, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care about that anymore. I just want to see Michael Keaton as Batman kicking ass, and I just want to see how they wrap the universe out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like they've got a plan for a change, and it looks like they've, well, the reviews are out. They've come out with something very solid. I've heard the term best comic book movie of all time, which I doubt, but we'll see. I haven't seen the movie. I'm very excited because my hype level has done a 180. Has done a complete 180, and that's down to the great marketing at Warner Brothers. Take notes, Disney. Okay, you don't fucking get rid of John Williams for damn theme songs for fucking next man's rendition of the Raiders theme. Okay, just saying. Okay, this is how trailers are done. All right, take note.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic trailer, and credit goes to the director, Andy Muschietti, or Andreas Muschietti. He delivered a couple of great last movies with It, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Really solid movies. And he came on board. He grabbed the bull by the horns, and he was just like, "Yep, we're putting the story together. We're casting. And he's got it done." And I think it says a lot about the faith that Warner's had in this movie, and the fact that obviously they cancelled Batgirl. They've been slashing things, cutting things, and despite all the stuff that's been said about Ezra Miller, they kept faith with this movie, and they're like, yeah, this is a movie that we want to show and we want to put out. And it looks like that's going to be justified. And what was interesting is there's actually a different trailer for international audiences, which has pretty much mostly Ezra Miller. and showing the two versions of him. So it's quite interesting that the US version focuses more on sort of like Batman and Supergirl, but the international trade is focusing much more on the main character. So whether that's, they're not sure about how American audiences are going to react to Ezra Miller, but I think once you sit down in there, you're just going to take it for face value, just look at his performance, and yeah, the word is coming out that it is a great movie. John Campea said it is a great movie, and so many others, Eddie Sigmore and stuff like that, they've been coming out saying it's a great movie. It's John Campea said it's not the best comic book movie of all time, no, but it is a very good movie, and they've talked about the performances, they've talked about the action, they've talked about the story, they talk about the emotion, and they've been really, really praising it. So yeah, I mean, there's been a couple out there that have said, yeah, it's an average movie, or like the first hour's great and then the end is a bit of a mess. But I guess, it depends on what you want from it. We don't know how they necessarily have this universe up. It is just part of the DCEU. It's not going to be part of the new version. But is there going to be something at the end which kind of feels that we can lead into that? I think there's a lot more cameos that we might not be aware of in this as well. That was hinted at as well. Great, because not a lot of people are going out there and spoiling it. And yeah, it's like Sacha, I knew the story of what's happening from what Sasha's told me, and it seems like most of that is true. But I think the main thing is we just don't know how it's going to end. Because that's probably changed a few times. So yeah, June's not far away, just a couple of months. June 16th, I believe it's out. So yeah, really looking forward to it. So well done, Warners. And I think pretty much everyone has said it's the best DCU film to date. And I think that is the consensus. So fingers crossed. Right, let's move on to our next topic. We're going to shift over to Sony now. So the other big stuff that we talked about in terms of comic book movies was Kraven the Hunter. So some initial footage was shown at CinemaCon, and the descriptions of the footage that have come out is that it is very animalistic, very violent, lots of blood, F-bombs. Kraven, there's a scene where Kraven bites the nose off somebody's face, turns to the camera and spits it out. The trailer also shows you a glimpse of Rhino, who is going to be in this movie. We don't know whether he's going to be the big bad or not, but he does appear in it. And there's a scene in it where he takes an injection into the arm, and the arm grows into a muscle arm with Rhino skin, which is quite comic book accurate in a sense of the original Rhino underwent a procedure which gave him the hard skin and stuff like that. It wasn't just like a mechanical costume and stuff like that. So that's the way they've gone with it. And Aaron Taylor-Johnson confirmed, yes, it is an R-rated movie, which basically in the UK is probably going to be a 15. That's what we're going to do. Now, there's also talk about a possible post-credit for the movie, not shown in the trailer, but apparently the post-credit of the movie is going to involve a link to the other Sony universe in terms of Morbius. Potentially that end credit scene where we got with Morbius and the Vulture, which didn't make a lick of sense. But apparently it's going to be referencing that. So then potentially where the sequel's going to go. So we don't know when Rhino shows up in the movie, whether it's an end, whether it's going to lead on to the next movie, and then you'll have Vulture and stuff like that. But the interesting part is, that changing with the formula into that kind of animal creature, is that something can then lead to Scorpion down the road? Because again, he was teased in the very first MCU Spider-Man movie. Haven't seen anything from him yet. So that's kind of what we're getting from Kraven. So based on that stuff, guys, that you've heard about Kraven, are you interested? Has it got you more excited, less excited, or at the moment you just don't really care? Neil doesn't seem to care.
You know what? I'll be honest, right? Nothing that you just said will save this movie for me in regards to it being a Kraven the Hunter film, with my expectations of Kraven the Hunter having connections to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think that this is, and I hope I'm wrong. I genuinely hope I'm wrong, but I feel like it's basically Sony's way of trying to apologize for Venom being like PG-13 for Venom being like, Venom could have been Sony's answer to Deadpool.
Yeah.
And it was Sony's answer to Batman and Robin. And going the whole R-rated cut, I'm like, okay, what? You trying to say like, oh, you know what? Like, we're hip, we're young, we're with the crowd, we know what we're doing. Like, and I know it's not the whole company, it's just, whoever made those decisions to be like, yeah, this is what you do.
Yeah.
But,
Savvy.
Crazy.
Yeah, but R-rated doesn't make it a good movie. That's not your tagline to say, oh, we made it R-rated, so it's going to be cool. No, the story with the right characters is cool.
Though? Do you guys
it's been confirmed.
Yeah,
it's been confirmed.
Venom was R-rated, and then 2 weeks before release, they were like, no, it's not. We're going to cut it to it because it took them 2 weeks to... And the reason why they did that is because they saw what the interest was in the Venom movie beforehand, and the interest was not there. It was exactly how we're feeling right now, and they cut an R-rated movie because that original Venom was an R-rated, but it was shot as an R-rated movie with F-bombs, and blood and gore, and they cut the shit out of it till we got the movie that we got. I'm not saying it was going to be any better, but they went in there with the intent of filming an R-rated movie. Look,
and this is
for me, I think the fact they've come out. I think the fact they've come out so late in the day and made an official big announcement about it, the fact that they've said, yep, it's Sony's first R-rated movie, it's the first R-rated movie since Deadpool 2 maybe or something like that. They've gone big on it, so I think then pull it back, that will really piss fans off.
They did the exact same thing with Venom. They made that announcement.
No, I know, but I think they've learned from that mistake and they won't do the same thing again.
There is no mistake financially because Venom is a franchise now. That first movie made bank. You know what I mean? Had it have made money, then fine. Had it have lost money, then fine or whatever. But at the moment, it's just words to me. You know what I mean? Not that it means anything to me in the first place, but I'm just saying it as it was. It's like your promises are like not real. It's just another.
I would say,
but they've shown the footage now. They've shown the R-rated footage.
They showed R-rated footage of Venom.
No, but do you know what? Do you know what I think the difference is? CinemaCon is too big an event for you to release R-rated footage, F-bombs, blood, guts, and gore, and then reel it back and say, "Oh no, actually, sorry, we're not going to do that." Because
the first time they've done that in Hollywood, though, it's not been the first time they've done that. They've done that on films before.
Yeah, but when you say they've done it,
let's not get. Hold
up. Yeah, you're right. It's not the time. It's not the first time in Hollywood films have been walked back.
Yeah.
But think of the magnitude of this film. Think of what they're trying to do. They're trying to set up their own universe. They're trying to win people over. They, as Ken said, they made mistakes before, and they're trying to say we've learned from our mistakes. To walk it back is literally stepping in the same dog shit that you've just wiped off your shoe. There's no way, to me personally, there is no way that I can see them doing that, walking it back, and then making any other superhero film where they're like, we're doing this. You wouldn't be able to announce it. They'll make, obviously they're going to make more Spider-Man films no matter what happens. But I think anything related to this whole, the Sony universe of Spider-Man characters or of Marvel characters, whatever they're calling it, right? I just call it sus. Whatever sus is, right? Wherever sus is going to be, it's gonna fall to pieces if they walk it back and say, you know what, it's not going to be R-rated.
I know how they can make $1 billion. I know how they can make $1 billion. I'm not going to say the movie's going to be great, but I can give you a guaranteed $1 billion movie. What Sony can do without Marvel.
What? The
Amazing Spider-Man 3. Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield. Bring Andrew Garfield in, put in Miles Morales, have him cross over with Tom Hardy or Morpheus or whatever.
Well, we don't know that that's
million.
we don't know that's not going to happen though. That is a possibility because at the end of the day, Venom left Tom Holland's universe.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to say they're going to cross paths together. So, you know, Kraven, Venom, all that could be part of the Andrew Garfield universe.
Yeah, probably.
So,
but that would be how you raise those IPs. Totally.
Yeah, but that's the way to do it, right? So you bring all them in. So then you're going to have you could have Morbius, you could have the new Vulture in that universe if you wanted to, because obviously he's crossover. Because, you know, rather than it being multiverse versions, they actually disappeared from one universe and went to the other, which is strange. So, you know, there's a way of doing it because, as with any kind of comic book movie, you can just explain it away. But yeah, I think, as Neil said, the fact that they showed the footage, they went big on it. They're saying it is our first. You know, they've recognized what their other features did or didn't have. I think it would be a surprise at this point if they went back on it. But that's not to say it's impossible. So. Okay, so let's talk about some other stuff that was announced and shown. So from Warner Brothers, we had some footage from Dune 2 shown. Haven't really heard anything about that yet, but I'm not sure how much was shown. We got some footage from Wonka with Timothy Chalamet again. Apparently Hugh Grant is playing an Oompa Loompa in this.
What?
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's just playing one or if he's playing multiple or how it's going to work, but yeah, Hugh Grant's an Oompa Loompa. The film is going to be a musical of sorts. There are going to be some musical numbers in there, but no songs are shown in the footage at the moment. So we got a trailer for the Meg 2 or Meg 2, The Trench. I never saw the first one. I don't care. Then
I want to see. You know what? I read a blurb from it.
Mm-hmm.
I need to read this out.
Was it Big Shark Underwater or Big Shark?
No. It sold me. It actually sold me. It sold me.
Wow.
It sold me only because I know it's going to be ridiculous. So ridiculous, it's going to be jokes. But footage was shown at Las Vegas includes Jason Statham leaping into the air on a jet ski to face off against the giant shark with a katana. You know what? Now that's cinema. I'm there, bro. I haven't even seen.
Is this Meg 2 or Fast and the Furious 11? What the hell is going on?
I'm there, bro.
Hold up. They jumped the shark. They jumped the shark.
Jumped the shark. There was a teaser trailer for The Nun 2 shown. Neil, were you a fan of The Nun? No. Okay. No excitement there. Beetlejuice 2 was officially announced, so that is definitely happening. How do you guys feel about that? It's been a long time.
I quote the great Kevin Smith. Beetlejuice was great. Must we go tropical?
Yeah. Are they going to go Hawaiian this time? Who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, look, they got the relationship with Kenan going again, so Kenan, Winona Ryder back. Why not?
You know what it is? It's you. I think maybe it's the age that we are now. Maybe it's the understanding we have of like when things are like, oh no, you know what? There's a good reason to bring this back.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just looking at it and I just think Wednesday was such a smash that they're like anything that's got Tim Burton's name attached to it that has like a lick of cult status, let's just bring it back.
Yeah, no, there is a sense of that for sure.
Bring it back. They just give Keaton fucking Batman free and I'm there, man.
Well, we've got Elseworlds. We have the DC Elseworlds. It could happen. Oprah Winfrey came out. She talked about the Color Purple movie. So this is going to be a movie musical, which is the adaptation of the Broadway musical based on the original book. So, she says it's going to be a lot of heart. It's going to be, obviously different from the first movie. But, I actually have never seen the original. So
It's brilliant.
yeah, I've obviously I've only heard great things about it. It's Spielberg, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's to me what's like murdering it is I understand, you know, certain stories need to be retold for like generations. You know, I mean, The Color Purple was what was that? Was it not the 80s, late 80s?
I think it's more 90s. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it may have even been right. It may have been the early 90s, right? But
No, 1985.
1985.
there you go.
Right, so
Wow,
I
okay.
was one. I was one, right, when they made that film. But that film is. I'm not going to jump up and down and say any film is perfect, but I would say it is one of those films that when they made it perfectly. Like there isn't to watch it, and like Ken, I hope that you do eventually watch it. When you do watch it, and I was like, I'm telling you, there is nothing. There's not an actor in it. There's not a piece of dialogue. There's not a scene in it where I look at that film and I say, you know what? They could do that better nowadays. And I just think even though it's going to be a musical, and even though it's going to be, you know, it's based more around the play, which is the play is based off of the book, and obviously the film is based off the book, but they took whatever they took and left whatever they left. But I'm just hearing this, and in my head, I can visualize certain people who might get cast in it. And I just say, you don't have the gravitas to pull off the story the way it was pulled off. Because I'm like, if I see, because it's a musical, and in my head, I'm just like, is Beyonce going to turn up in it?
Right, okay.
You know, I'm like, not, and you know, this is no shred of disrespect on this person's name whatsoever, but I'm like, are you going to do something like put, I don't know, like Donald Glover in it? Even though he's a brilliant actor, are you going to stick him in it, but then stick him in a role that don't fit him because you need him to sing a certain song?
Well, we can have a look at some of the cast. So we've got Taraji P. Henson. We got Halle Bailey, who's obviously going to be starring in the upcoming Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Marvel, Corey Hawkins, he's a talent. Lewis Gossett Jr., Coleman Domingo, Danielle Brooks, I think from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
David Alan Grier, Stephen Hill, Dion Cole, H.E.R. Is that a singer?
She's a brilliant. All right. See, now here's the thing. Everything you said, I listened to it, and I was like, damn, that's actually a really good cast. Maybe
Sierra. Yeah.
Right? That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I'm hearing this, and I'm thinking maybe I was wrong. And then you said Sierra.
She might have a small part.
Right? And I'm looking at it, and the thing is, having seen the film and knowing the names of some of these characters, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, you got some people in it, but no.
You're not feeling it? You're not sure?
No, I mean, look, everyone, I will reel back what I said. Everyone, most of the people who you read out, most of the people, I'm myself looking through the cast list, everyone I recognize is damn talented. Except one. But, you know, everybody is damn talented.
We'll have to wait and see.
And I'm just like, no, because... Right, okay, so to give you, you know, a little bit of what I can, right? All right, so Corey Hawkins is playing the character Harpo. Harpo is the son of, like, the main male antagonist, right? So in the original film, Harpo is the son of Danny Glover's character.
Right, okay, yeah.
He was weak-willed, very like, bumbling. He was not the guy, right? And they've got Corey Hawkins playing him. Harpo, I'm like, Corey Hawkins, you are a brilliant actor. You're not gonna kill Harpo.
But is the Harpo from the first movie like book accurate? Do you know what I mean? So was that just obviously his take on the character as opposed to what the writer intended? Because if they're using the original source material, or the musical, because obviously I don't know how he plays in the how the character's played out in the musical. So it could be just a different version of what we're used to. So I think if you've seen the musical, I think you could obviously maybe have a better judge of what they're going for. But yeah, without having seen either.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Ken. I mean, like, here's the thing. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that Steven Spielberg isn't the current day GOAT of cinema. All right? There's no denying that.
I think he's the GOAT, period.
There's no denial. If anyone says that is not fact, they need to leave the room. All right? Don't care. You can bring your Tarantinos and your Nolans and your whatever, and that's all cool. Everybody has a place, okay? I'm a big QT fan personally. But like him or hate him, Spielberg is a GOAT. You know what I mean? And probably the GOAT with the longest innings. You know what I mean? And fair enough, like, his filmography may not be for everyone the past 10 years, but you know what? Like, he had a good run in the 80s and 90s. Now, that being said, hey, look, beloved movie, it's a classic. However, Spartacus was also a classic. Okay? Still is a classic. But you know what? That is one damn fine series. Okay? Most people talk about the series.
I think they're different beasts.
They are different, but again,
Source
if you're going to take on the GOAT, not that they're trying to, you go about it differently. Oh, there's a musical. It has a fixed fan base already. They know who they're catering to. They're not trying to do the Spielberg thing. You know what I mean? So to compare it to the Spielberg thing when they've clearly said, no, we're basing it on the musical, they're taking a different approach, a completely different approach. They're not there to compete. They're just being there to exist and tell this story in a brand new way or a different way to a modern audience. And that doesn't dilute the Spielberg film, if anything. You know what I mean? Even if this movie was bullshit and horseshit, all right, I say, look, I wake up sometimes in cold sweats when I hear a classic film of mine gets remade. let's not deny it, okay? I'm not going to get on my high horse there, okay? If I hear they remake RoboCop one more time, okay, I swear to God. But at the end of the day, after the panic attack and when the dust settles, you just got to go, well, here's the thing. We all know it's going to be horse shit, but you know what? My OG shit's still going to look better. You know what I mean?
We have our versions. That's it.
End of the day, people are just, the only thing good that could come is that they make a decent film for a new generation. You know what I mean? And
true.
That's it. Like, I'm not going to fight tooth and nail over this film like if it was Superman. But or Spider-Man or other shit that I've lost my shit over. But I mean, do you know what I mean? Because they've literally said we are doing this version of it. I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. If they turned around and said, we're remaking Color Purple, Steven Spielberg's movie, we think we can do it better, then I'll be like, oh, really? Tell me
really?
more.
Yeah, interesting.
But they haven't done that. They haven't done that. So I'm giving them a little bit of leeway here.
Right. Well, I mean, all I can say is I hope I'm very wrong, but I'll say, remember when I was talking about the Harpo character? The actor who played him is Willard E. Pugh. Now, you probably don't remember that name, but he is the mayor in RoboCop 2.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I know
Yeah. So you think of him, how he is in that film. very kind of animated, bumbling a little bit, like clearly not the guy.
Yeah.
And now you think Corey Hawkins.
I say Corey Hawkins better act, but that's. But again, I've not seen the musical, so I don't know which way they're going to go with that. So it's open to
it's a wait and see.
Yeah.
It's a wait and see. It's a wait and see.
I wish him well.
Yeah, and speaking of Wish, that brings us on to Disney's next animated movie called Wish. They showed a full musical number from the movie. It's got Oscar winner Ariana DeBose as the main character. You may remember her from West Side Story. And she's playing the character Asha. And there was the announcement that Chris Pine will be voicing King Magnifico in this as well. So Chris Pine, he's done well coming straight off Dungeons and Dragons, really good turn in there. So looking forward to see what he brings to that. They also showed 20 minutes of Pixar's Elementals. So some generally good feedback on that. You see a little bit more of the world and the characters. It's... I don't know, Pixar's movies as of late, the excitement isn't there going into them. But when I watch them, I'm greatly satisfied. Like Soul, for example. Maybe not a lot of great build-up and stuff like that, but you watch it and you get the feels. It feels good. So that's kind of how I'm feeling with Pixar at the moment. It's just like they still can deliver, but just the hype isn't there because obviously they're trying all these new characters. They're trying these new stories and stuff like that, where previously they just built off the franchises. But saying that, we're still getting another Toy Story. So there we go. What else did they show? So we got a first look of A Haunting in Venice. So sequel to Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, stars Kenneth Branagh,
really good trailer,
and Michelle Yeoh. So it's kind of got more of a horror element in it. So the trailer's now live. You can go check it out online. Ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a very different tone to the other two movies, but yeah, kind of dug it. So yeah. Another movie which they spoke about, which is going to be released in September, is The Creator. So it's a new movie from Gareth Edwards, who directed Godzilla and Rogue One. It's a sci-fi movie that stars John David Washington, son of Denzel. You may remember him from Tenet movie, which was out, was it 2 years ago now, probably? About a man escorting an android boy to safety. So sounds a little bit like AI, artificial intelligence and stuff, but yeah, apparently that's coming out in September. And then we've got the new Taika Waititi film. It's called Next Goal Wins, and this is based off a true story where it's a story of American Samoa football team, and it was the qualifying rounds for the World Cup in 2001. They lost 31-0 to Australia. And so the next World Cup is coming up, and the team recruits a new sort of like down on his luck maverick coach, who's Michael Fassbender, who we haven't seen in quite a while, to turn their fortunes around. So it's going to be sort of like a feel-good movie that's coming out, the drama, in November 23. So those are the big announcements from the first couple of days. So Disney didn't go too much. They showed some more footage of Guardians. They showed, I think, apparently a little bit more footage of Marvels, but they didn't stray too far in the future. This isn't their platform to do that. They'll save it for their expos and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly, D23 and stuff like that. So just kind of focusing more on what's coming out towards like the next 12 months. And they also showed some more of Haunted Mansion. They showed some more footage of that. I think this movie's gonna have a lot of cameos, potentially as ghosts and stuff like that. And apparently from the footage that was seen, there's a lot more of the actual ride within the movie. So elements from the Haunted Mansion ride show up more in the movie and stuff like that. It opens with a Danny DeVito sort of like monologue, kind of explaining the movie and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting a new trailer for that soon as well. Any of those stuff that I just mentioned, guys, anything you kind of looking forward to or piques your interest?
Haunted Mansion.
Other than I've forgotten the name of the film. Kenneth Branagh, Jewel of the Nile.
Poirot, yeah, so Haunting in Venice.
Poirot, yeah. That I'm immensely looking forward to. I'm with you with the Pixar thing. Like, I like Pixar, but I think Pixar have been swinging. I think Disney in general have been swinging misses lately. I've not been getting the feels since Soul, to be quite honest. That was the lot. That Turning Red film. Was that Pixar or was that Disney animation?
Disney animation.
That was turd. I'm sorry, man.
I don't think you were the intended audience, were you?
Yeah, I don't think I was. That was not aimed at me quite clearly. So I could get my head around that one, man. But yeah, we'll see. Disney have a habit.
Oh no, Turning Red was Pixar. Apologies, Turning Red was Pixar.
Wow. Well, they dropped the ball. Okay, they dropped the ball. Okay. But yeah, no, I think
Luca was fantastic.
Yeah, Luca was fantastic.
No, I mean they had a string of hits. Onward, Soul, Luca, really, really strong. Turning Red was something different. Yeah, Turning Red was something different for a different audience. And then obviously we had Lightyear, which was actually a really good movie, but it just didn't do well. People just didn't take to it.
I didn't take to it. It was average.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
You know what? I think
great.
I enjoyed it, but I think it was just. How can I describe it? I enjoyed it, but I felt like it didn't need to be the movie that Andy watched as to why the Buzz Lightyear toy is there.
It was a bit of a hard sell. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, okay, so this is a movie about the real character who was the toy, but everyone up at that point only knows the toy.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing was, I didn't hate it, but yeah, I was just like, so. And then Toy Story, what's that, 5? Toy Story 5, the announcement. I really cared because here's the thing. The original 3, fantastic. 4th one, great premise, but missed the mark. Missed the mark in the fields. You know what I mean? And the difference was all the ingredients were there for that movie in the screenplay and the script. The direction wasn't there. And that was because John Lasseter was not at the helm. He's no longer at the company anymore. Hasn't been for quite a while. And this will be the first one solely without him. And hey, they could do a really great movie. They could. You know, that's not impossible. That's not an impossible stretch in the means. These are very beloved characters. However, we've gotten to the point with Toy Story where Toy Story 3, I thought, was the definitive ending until Toy Story 4 kind of was like, no, you know what? This is the definitive ending. Now we're at the Lasseter's gone. He's ended it. And you guys want to carry on? All right. Well, if it ain't... Look, here's the thing. Toy Story 4 was a little bit of a, fourth entry of a film franchise kind of thing. I think we should just, let it be golden. You know what I mean? Let it be golden unless, like, Disney... Well, it's corporate now. It's not coming out of love. You know what I mean?
No, I agreed.
That's all I got to say about that. So, but yeah, I'm saying that as a Pixar fan, man. I love Pixar films, but I just don't think that they've really given it their best the past 2 films. If we're going off Lightyear and Turning Red, Soul, amazing. Onward, bravo. But Anyway, that's my little rant.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just touch on this briefly because I'm conscious this episode could really overrun because of the territory I'm about to go in. But we haven't really talked about Star Wars Celebration and the movies that were announced there. So 3 major movies were announced. We've got James Mangold, who directed Logan, and who's also doing the upcoming...
Can we start with the potential worst one? Because I want to end it on high, then on a...
Oh, you want to end it on a high? All right. So Daisy Ridley coming back as Rey Skywalker, I presume. It's going to be set, I think, 15 years after the last movie. She's building up a Jedi team, a Jedi Academy, which is basically what we should have seen Luke Skywalker do in the last lot of movies, but they're doing it with her character. What are your thoughts on continuing her story and that part of the franchise?
So, okay, I'm just going to go out and say this. Let's go. Okay. With all the stuff we're going to talk about later, they didn't actually mention this at Celebration. They actually announced it in Variety, and it was kind of low-key announced at Celebration. It wasn't I was there. You know what I mean? There was no panel. You know what I mean?
They had a big
Until
panel
late.
when Daisy Ridley came out on stage.
Not when I was there, because it came
Well,
out of
you missed that,
Variety
bro.
first.
Were you
That
there
must have come
every
out
day?
on a different day then.
No, there's
must have
loads of
talked about
videos.
There's loads of
Maybe a
videos.
different day.
Was that? It wasn't
Red outfit.
Friday.
They didn't announce it before Daisy Ridley came out on stage. So unless they did the stage
But she
announcement
wasn't
before
there.
and
She
then
wasn't there
Variety.
the first day.
Okay, well, they did a whole big stage announcement.
Okay.
Nobody knew
So
about
that
it
must
until
have
she
been-
walked out on
That must
stage.
have been, well, no, because Simon was definitely there before I was. I saw the Variety thing. I posted it to Simon. Simon was at the stage, and he said, "Where are you getting this from?" I said, "Variety just announced it." I got the text.
Yeah, I
So-
don't know the don't know the timelines, but they
Well,
definitely did because
but
I've seen
I'm
the
telling you,
videos.
but that's
Because
just it.
Kathleen Kennedy was out on stage. She
sure
said,
she
"Yeah,
was.
we're doing this," and she invited Daisy Ridley out. Daisy
Yeah.
Ridley comes out. She's waving to everyone.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure it was done on one of the days, but it wasn't there at the actual Friday when it was announced in Variety.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So that must have come as like an after thing or something, but it definitely wasn't there on the Friday because I was there in the.
Right,
I was.
probably
What
leaked
time
it.
did I get there? I got there around 1:00. No one was talking about that. Trust me. And before I even got there, I'd sent the message around our group chat. I sent it to Simon, who was there, trying to get a response like, "Dude, you're there, man. What the f?" And he was like, "This is fake, right? Because I'm here, and that hasn't happened, man." So, and he was there for the whole 4 days. So, whatever they showed that's live on the stream, or on the streams or on the internet, or whatnot, that must have happened later when I left that day.
But that's the thing. That was probably the closing panel. Her walking out as Ray was probably the closing panel on Saturday, if not Sunday.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Here's all this cool stuff. By the way, wheel her out
like that. You don't wheel her out when you know that like people still got time to go do other things.
Yeah. I mean, put it this way, like, yeah, as Ken said, like, yeah. So she's setting up a brand new Jedi Order. Bravo, great. I don't care. Okay, I don't care. I've had a lot to digest. Obviously, there was the whole thing like, why? You're cementing the fact that you've killed it. But then I'm like, no, you haven't killed it because despite what people say about season 3 of Mandalorian, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really looking forward to Ahsoka, which we'll get onto a bit later. As long as I've got that era that I'm still getting enjoyment out of, I'm fine. You know what I mean? Let the people that like that crap enjoy that crap. It's not for me. You know what I mean? It's not for me. I gave it a chance. I'm burnt. I don't want to see anymore. You know what I mean? Someone will reboot that side of Star Wars, all right? So, and then I'll give it another try. But at the moment, like, I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm just going to let it lie, man, because, like, you know what I mean? Like, ignorance is bliss. And 2, it's just kind of like, I'm just done. I'm just done with, like, reacting like a crazy person, even though I probably will every 5 minutes anyway. But I'm just, you know what I mean? I've got nothing more to add to this debate. You know what I mean? Other than venomous, like, what the fuck are you doing? What do you mean Mark Hamill's not in it? What do you mean? And here's the thing, I look, if you feel that way, I agree with you guys 1000%. It's just I'm spent. You know what I mean? I'm actually spent on it. You know what I mean? And I that's why I wanted to get out of the way first, because I've ranted too much on this podcast, so you know what I mean. But my general consensus is, yeah, good luck with that, bro. I'll be there when the fell party happens, because I'm not paying for it. I ain't going to cinema for it. I ain't going for free for it. I'm going to pirate it. I'm going to go on the high seas and send links to everybody I know for it. So there we go. That's
the
I'm gonna
biggest lie
celebrate
in history. There's no way that you are going to skip out on a Star Wars film, as terrible as it may be.
Watch.
I'll definitely say you might leave midway through, but I don't see you.
I will
not
do
going
it.
to.
I will do it. Watch. I will do this. I will do this. I will do it. I'm not seeing it opening day.
Look, it might be one of those things that'll actually benefit from not being tied to the legacy characters and the legacy stories and stuff like that. You know, having her own story, her own movie. You know, I didn't think she was bad in the role. You know, I didn't have any problem with her as an actress or the character. I didn't like some of the character choices they made for her, but that's not down to her. So yeah, I'm open to it. I have to see what it does, but I'm not going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to go see it at the cinema because, you know, what they have done with the Mandalorian and essentially what they're doing with Ahsoka and stuff like that. You know, it's like, you know, we could have something great, but we could have something like Obi-Wan. But again, because you're dealing with Obi-Wan, you're dealing with legacy characters and stories that will meet a certain type of expectation. New stories and new characters and new setting is kind of open. So yeah, kind of bring it on.
I think my only rebuttal to that is the idea of watching a film where Rey is rebuilding the Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's very problematic because it's not like it's not a fresh idea. It's an idea that they've taken from pre-existing media, pre-existing books and stories where they had it, where Luke sets up a new Jedi Order, right?
They've just replaced him. This is why I'm not paying for it. This is exactly why I'm boycotting it. I'm boycotting it because that's not what I wanted. That's not what I'm paying for. And you ain't taking my money. And I suggest everyone that feels that way, stop bitching about it. Do something about it. Just fucking do something about it. Don't cry about it. Don't give them their clicks on their trailers, because the only way these guys are going to get the message of making bollocks and crap is if you don't pay for it. If you pay for it, then they're going to think, hey, that made $1 billion. Let's go make some more bullshit. And let's not put any effort into it. Okay? That's how this works. It's a business at the end of the day. I am not going to spend my hard-earned dime on that fucking movie. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about it, and that's how it's going to be. I pay for Cineworld a ticket, and I get, a free ticket every month? Cool. Well, you know what? That free ticket still ain't going on that, because that 20 quid that I bought for that month somehow gets reimbursed that way towards that fund, okay? Disney ain't seen that money. I'm telling you that now. I'm telling you, people, I'm telling you, all you Star Wars fans, yeah, like, don't get mad, get even. Just don't go watch it. All right? Don't go watch it. If it's shit, good. You did a good thing. If it's good, okay, fair enough. You fucked up. But you know what? At least you made a choice rather than crying about it on the internet and just boom, boom, boom. Just don't fucking watch the movie.
Today, we just got to move on. You know, it's like the movies happened, they happened. They're going to do something else now with other characters. Fine, let's see. You know, I think the big mistake they could do is try and bring back all the other characters like Kylo Ren and Finn and stuff like that. So if you're bringing back that one character, fine, just flesh it out with new characters. And, you know, episode 7 was the same as episode 4. Everything's rehashed in a sense. So I haven't got a problem with her rebuilding the Jedi Order or whatever it is. But again, I'm not somebody who read all books and novels and everything that came after the original film. So I don't have that, you know, connectivity to be like, oh, if they had only done this, if they'd only done that. I got what I was given. I didn't like it. I liked episode 7, didn't like 8 or 9, hated 8, but you know, it is. It's the movie going experience. You win some, you lose some. So in terms of the other movies, we've got Dave Filoni's film. So he will have a theatrical film, which is basically going to tie up all his projects on Disney Plus, which is going to be The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Rebels. You know, everything's going to come together. That trailer for Ahsoka was fire. That was awesome. All the threads from Rebels were there, the characters. One of the shots in the trailer picked up the very last shot of Rebels, showing like, yeah, it's a continuation. They're picking it up and where they're going. So there's a tease of what's his. No, the teaser of Big Bad in terms of Thrawn, you know, yeah, you know, he's going to be there, and also Jedi's name who's gone missing, Ezra, and there's a hologram of him in one of the scenes. Whether he's going to play a bigger part in the series or it's just a tease for this one, we'll have to wait and see. But what are you feeling about having all that come together as a final movie? Does it make sense, or should we see it just continue to play on the small screen?
I think if it's the end, if it's the culmination, I have no problem with it being a movie. Mm-hmm. But I say that I have no problem with it being a movie because by that time, you know, even if you're someone who never watched, even if you by that time you're someone who didn't watch Rebels, you didn't watch Clone Wars, anything like that, and you only know Dave Filoni's live action work, you know who those characters are. It's the equivalent, essentially, it's the equivalent of like Avengers 1. It's you've been introduced to these characters, you know who these characters are. So by the time you get them in a 2 hours and 10-minute movie, you'll be like, right, I know who they are. I'm happy to see them go at it.
Yeah, no, it's very promising. James Mangold, director of Logan, upcoming Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. He's going to be doing a new Star Wars film, and they're going to go back to the dawn of the Jedi. So he's basically going to be going back to like the very first Jedi, maybe even more so than what Phantom Menace did and midichlorians, whether they're going to be involved or whatever, who knows. But yeah, it's very much like how the Jedi became who they were. So interesting take, something different, I guess. But we'll have to wait and see. But however, just touching on James Mangold, Steven Spielberg has watched the new Indiana Jones movie, and apparently he said to James Mangold, "Damn, I thought I was the only person who could make this kind of movie," and he was very impressed with it. So positive things there. So James Mangold movie, excited or no?
No, I'm not excited, but I have two reasons. One, again, being a very, very, very large Star Wars fan, this whole we're gonna go all the way back to the very first Jedi. No, don't. Like, I don't need to see that from those who are making it. And the second thing is,
it's like Highlander 2 vibes. It's like Highlander 2 vibes, man.
It's like Highlander 2. It genuinely feels like that's the direction it's going in. And second reason,
it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
surprise me.
But the second reason is because whilst he is extremely good at his job, the last time James Mangold was really splashed across my eye line was a film that I flat out hate. Well,
you're not a fan of Logan, are you?
No, I'm not. So, I mean, maybe if Indiana Jones is as good as his Lord and Master Steven Spielberg says it is, then maybe maybe I'll feel differently. But last time the man was given part of my childhood, he set fire to it.
See, Logan for me, okay, I've been very vocal about how I felt about Logan, but that doesn't reflect on how I feel of James Mangold as a film director. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's definitely
Logan.
Sorry?
Of his films, I've only seen Logan.
What?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I off the top of my head, I don't know any of his films. What?
Copland?
No.
What? All right. Wait.
Ford versus Ferrari?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. No, that's him?
Yeah.
Okay, I must recant what I said because that I genuinely enjoyed that film.
Wolverine?
Yeah, he's writing the Star Wars movie as well.
Yeah, the Wolverine?
The Wolverine, as in Japan.
Wolverine. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Okay, so... Wait.
310 to Yuma.
Yeah,
Night and Day. Walk the Line.
Actually,
I haven't seen Walk the Line.
Night and Day was a bit for Turkey.
Yeah,
I felt.
Kate and Leopold, Girl Interrupted. But yeah, he's got 5 movies coming up. So we've got Crenshaw in development, Star Wars: Dawn of the Jedi, working title, Juliet, and obviously Indiana Jones. So
I'm sorry. Did you say the first film you said? Did you say the word Crenshaw? As in Los Angeles. Crenshaw Boulevard.
No, Jackson, a boy whose family has fallen on hard times, visited an imaginary friend named Crenshaw. So no, we're not on the same page.
So yeah, look, very capable director. I'm intrigued to see what he does with Indiana Jones. like his work. Logan, I'm a bit indifferent about that for the same reasons Neil is, but I don't hold it against him. Look, let's leave the Birth of the Jedi stuff to George. Let's not go there and like, you know, that's like telling Tolkien, like, yo, you know, your Lord of the Rings and things. Or actually, no, shut up with this fanboy shit. All right, I don't mind you guys doing something way back in the day with Jedi's with your own characters and stuff. That's fine. I won't say we're making the definitive Jedi Order like if it's the Bible and shit. All right. Do we need an explanation for everything? Why can't things just be? You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, you know, but then he's a very capable director and I like the majority of his work. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and I'm not going to go nuts. But am I excited? Meh. I'm not really excited about Star Wars stuff. You know what I mean? That's why the one bit of the universe I am excited for, the Mandoverse, I'll fanboy all day to that shit. But everything else, it's like a bit of white noise, really. Cool.
Cool. Okay, well, that's pretty much going to wrap this episode up. So today we were talking about CinemaCon 2023 and Star Wars Celebration. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. What movies are you excited for? What movies are you dreading? What movies are you going to be boycotting with Sash? So keep us posted in the comments. As always, please make sure you like and subscribe. We really appreciate your support. You can make sure you hit that notification button on YouTube and you'll be first to know when our new videos drop. So you can either put a like up or a thumb down, whatever your preference. We're available all your normal podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify. We are everywhere. So, gentlemen, anything else to add this evening?
Yeah. Hashtag fuck Raylo.
Who?
Who's Raylo?
Oh, wait. Are you talking about Ray and Kylo Ren?
Whatever, man. Whatever.
Wow. Okay. I might take that bit out. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me today, gents. It's been a pleasure. And until next time, peace out.